Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Saucy Picks MMA show. As always, I'm your host, Skylar Lurwill. And yeah, excited to be back into it. Excited for UFC 311. There's been some big changes. I'm recording this late in the week. This is Friday, is when I'm recording it. So there's been some big changes to the card. Exciting changes, sad changes, but man, overall, really, really excited. I have some really good reads this week as far as betting goes. Today's show, we're going to do a little bit different. Typically, I just go through and break down each fight, give you my opinion on the winner. I'm also going to give you all of my bets in this video today. I've got some really good reads. I feel really confident in them. I feel like I know the winner of some of these fights, and we're gonna make some serious cash. So we'll go over mostly my sports books bets, but I may even go over some DFS as well. But we will see. But yeah, I'm excited. This is super cool. 311 is going to be sick. Just stoked for it. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. First fight of the night, we have Tagir Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. And I got to be honest, I feel like Clayton Carpenter is too big of a dog here. At plus 260, he has a real shot at winning this. Of course, Tajir, he's a part of the Dagestani crew. All of those guys are insane wrestlers, really good fighters. And that's just what Tajir is. He doesn't take risks on the feet. He's very conservative with his striking. He really is careful with his shot attempts and his shots. But he's a good fighter. He's got submissions over guys like Cody Durden, which is a good win. Uh, Clayton Carpenter probably does lose this, but at plus 260, there's definitely some value on that line. However, am steering clear of betting this fight just because it's too volatile. But I don't agree with Tajir being minus 325 favorite. It's just too big of a favorite. I do have some questions though with Clayton Carpenter just because of his layoffs have always been a long time. He has had some potential injuries in the past, but he's a good fighter. 8-0. Coming off Dana White's Contender Series a couple years back. He really is. He's a good fighter, and he has a real shot at winning this one. But for the pick, I got to go with Tajiro Ulanbekov. Really, not much else to say. He's the pick. I would not be parlaying Tajiro Ulanbekov though this week. He could definitely be a parlay buster. So steer clear of that, but be careful. So there's the pick. Tajiro Ulanbekov is the official pick. I have no sort of bet on this fight at all. Moving on, Ricky Tercios versus Bernardo Sopai. Um, I think Ricky Tercios is terrible. I think he's a horrible fighter. I think he's super weird with his style. He doesn't really have good skills. I don't know how he was the Ultimate Fighter winner, to be honest with you. He's so bad. He's so bad at this freaking game. So with that said, the I got Sopai here as as the pick for sure. And I actually do have a couple of bets on Bernardo Sopai. He is it's either one or two of my parlays. Um, I feel confident. A minus 250. It is a little chalky, really chalky, but in a parlay piece, I think he's a great spot to put. I want to say I've got him in a four leg parlay, but I'll go over that at the end. We can go through all those bets, but Bernardo Sapai, he's a better fighter. He is coming off a pretty nasty KO from Vinicius Oliveira. That flying knee KO was nasty. So that is definitely not awesome to see. But I mean, he's 7 years younger. He's a better fighter. His striking is very crisp. Ricky Tercios is so bad. His striking sucks. His grappling sucks. He has zero takedown defense. Zero takedown defense. So, I mean, that's a pretty easy pick for me. I think Bernardo Sopai wins this. He could find a finish for sure, but probably a decision for Sopai. But again, feeling pretty confident in that pick. And like I said before, I do have some money on Sopai. But yeah, the official pick here is Bernardo Sopai. Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafarov. I do feel like, of course, as we all know, Rinya Nakamura, he's going to come out, he's going to spam wrestling and spam takedowns. That's really all he's good at, is taking guys down, holding them down. His ground and pound isn't all that good. He has very little upside for finishing, just because there's no jujitsu. It's all wrestling. So that is definitely something that could be, I could hesitate on that for sure. Um, Muin Gafarov, on the other hand, not all that good of a fighter, not super well rounded. I mean, he's just I feel like his striking is good for sure, but I don't think he can keep this on the feet. Just because Rinya Nakamura is going to spam takedowns, and really he's a really good wrestler, but again he just doesn't have the jujitsu or really ground and pound to back up that wrestling. But it's probably going to be a 30-27 Rinya Nakamura. Take him down each round and hold him there, and I think he can hold Muin Gafurov. You know, I think he can hold him on the ground. But if he can't, this could be Gafurov could be live at plus 430. He could be a live dog if he's able to stuff the takedowns. Uh, apply the pressure, apply the pace, really take over late as Rinya gets depleted from these takedown attempts. It's possible he could be a live dog. There's maybe some value, but I have a hard time seeing Rinya Nakamura gas, and I have a hard time seeing Muin Gafurov defend takedowns, especially that many against such a high level wrestler. So the pick here is Rinya Nakamura. Again, not a parlay piece for me. I would not be betting Rinya Nakamura at minus 600. Uh, it's just too pricey, too chalky for me. So I'll steer clear of that. I do believe I have a DFS play on Rinya Nakamura for more than on takedowns, and again we'll go over that. But as I go through these, I'll just mention some of the bets I have, and then we'll cover that a little bit later as well. But the pick here is going to be Rinya Nakamura, probably by decision. Gil Rosa versus Aileen Perez. So I I gotta be honest, I don't really know why Eileen Perez is such a big dog. I mean, I get Carol Rosa's good. She has good takedown defense. She has really good striking. She is definitely the better striker here. If this is on the feet, this is Carol Rosa all day long. But Eileen Perez, we know her as a grappler, a really good grappler at that, and her jiu-jitsu is getting better. Her wrestling is getting better. Every fight, the last 3 or 4 fights she's been in, I can see improvements in her game every single time. She looked really good against her last opponent. She submitted her. Um, so Eileen Perez is a real live dog here. And to be honest with you, I can't see Carol Rosa defending the takedowns from Eileen Perez. I think Perez is going to be able to get this to the ground. She's going to work her ground and pound, possibly find a finish. Uh, so at plus 205, I think I have to pick Eileen Perez here. She's a very live dog. Kiara Rosa is, again, her striking is levels above Eileen Perez, way better. So if Eileen Perez can't get this to the ground, it's game over. But if she does, man, she could really put the hurting on Carol Rosa on the ground. So and I trust her to do that. I trust Eileen Perez to do that. She's a girl that goes in with a game plan. She's a girl that goes in knowing what she needs to do to win, and she does it. So for the pick here, I'm gonna go with Eileen Perez. And honestly, I would not be mad if I put a unit, or a half a unit on Eileen Perez at plus 205. Those are phenomenal odds. Uh, I'm gonna steer clear just because the reason for that is I know I just talked her up at a plus 205, but women's MMA is so volatile and anything can happen more than men's MMA. It's just too flaky. So women's MMA, I really try and steer clear of unless I have a really, really good read, which I don't on this. I feel pretty confident in the Eileen Perez pick, but not enough to lay anything on this fight. So it's going to be Eileen Perez for the pick, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this fight. I'm typically women's MMA is, and this one is, but it's still a good fight, and I'm excited to see what Eileen Perez can do. Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Uh, it's gonna be this fight plays out one way. It's Grant Dawson by mauling on the ground, or Diego Ferreira by knockout on the feet. Grant Dawson cannot stand with Ferreira. Even at 40 years old, Ferreira has really good boxing, really good boxing. And Grant just doesn't have that. I mean, he does have, okay striking, but we got him, we saw him get flatlined by Bobby Green in 30 seconds, So if you're Grant Dawson, you're going in there and you're taking Diego Ferreira down as fast as you can, and holding him there as long as you can. The only issue I see with Grant Dawson here is Diego can really scramble. Like he's able to scramble really, really well. Um, so it's going to be all about Grant Dawson being able to hold him there. If he gets to the back, it's probably going to be a wrap for the round for Diego. Just because Grant Dawson is good there. But if Grant can hold him down, It's his fight all day long. He just cannot get lured into some sort of striking battle with Diego, or he's going to get starched. So the pick here is definitely Grant Dawson. I feel like I can trust Grant Dawson to go in there and work his stuff, do his thing. He's going to go in there and do Grant Dawson things, take him down, ground and pound, cut him open, throw some elbows, especially with the new 12-6 elbows. I mean, he's going to be the pick here for sure. And of course, Diego's 40 years old. He's old, man. So it's definitely a Grant Dawson pick for me here. But there's a shot. There's a shot. He could absolutely do it. But the pick will be Grant. So and again, it's one of two ways: Diego by just killing him on the striking, or Grant Dawson by mauling on the ground. And again, I think we can trust Grant Dawson to take Diego down and hold him there and work his stuff. So he'll pick Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elenkana. So I don't know much about this Billy Elenkana guy. I do know he's very durable. He has some good striking, and he has a really good gas tank. So there's going to be a lot of people coming in here. Bogdan first round KO, Bogdan, under on fight time, under 1.5 rounds. But I don't know. I could see this going to a decision. I really could. Billy's tough. He's a tough fighter. Uh, Relatively inexperienced, but tough enough, I think, to get to the second round. And we haven't really seen. I guess we did in his last fight, but I haven't really seen Bogdan go hard for 15 minutes. And if Billy can do that and make him go hard for 15 minutes, I could see him putting on the pressure late in the rounds and maybe finding a finish, or maybe winning rounds 2, 3, winning the last half of round two and then winning round three. It's possible. He's live as an underdog here. But with all that said, I mean, Bogdan's got some heavy hands. We saw him beat Ryan Spann the way that he did. It was awesome. Um, so he'll be the pick. I don't know if it's going to be a quick KO from him, though. I just don't know if it will be. If it is a quick KO, it's going to be really quick. But if he doesn't get it done in the first round, this is going to go to and it could be live here at Billy Ellen Kana. He could be live at a decision. And if you're a Bogdan guy who's got a minus 360, ticket in your hand with a decision nowadays, I would be pretty nervous. So no way I'm laying the chalk on Bogdan, but I don't know if there's much value there for Billy as far as in my eyes, just because the only way I feel like he can win is by decision, and the odds of it getting there are probably slim, but I think it's very possible, and he could absolutely do it. So the official pick will be Bogdan. A lot of favorites here on this card that I'm picking, but for good reason. Not this next fight though. We have the underdog, and I'm going to take him. Um, Asmat is filling in notice. Uh, has okay wrestling, I would say. Really not all that good wrestling. But okay wrestling. His striking is pretty poor. Not much jujitsu at all. The only way I think I could see Asmat winning this is, I mean, we saw Asmat on the regional scene. I guess not on the regional scene, but in other promotions, he went to a split decision with Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka is um has no wins in the UFC. So if he's going to split decisions with a Dylan Budka who has no wins in the UFC, how good could this guy really be? He's not. Um, Zachary Reese, of course, as we know, there's questions about his cardio because he's won all of his fights in the first round via armbar, or TKO. Um, we saw him knock out. Oh man, who was it? I can picture his face. He carved a heart into his chest hair for Miley Cyrus. It'll come to me. Just hang on. But anyway, we saw him starch him in the first round. He's got really good jiu-jitsu off his back. That's the only problem that I could see with this fight potentially for Zach Reese is if he plays jiu-jitsu from his back too long, he could burn minutes and burn time, um, and lose this fight by decision just because he does fall into that trap of um, playing jujitsu off of his back. However, his arm bars are nasty. His arm bars are scary nasty. So the odds of him picking out an arm bar or a KO in the first round are pretty good. Um, but that's the only way I can see Asmat winning here is just by wrestling his way and literally laying in guard for 3 rounds. So if he wins, it's going to be boring as freaking all get out. If Zach wins, it's going to be a KO or an armbar or a triangle. Julian Marquez just came to me. That's who Zach Reese knocked out. I believe it was 2 fights ago. He knocked out Julian Marquez in the first round. So he's got hands, and then he went 15 minutes last fight. He's got hands. He's got cardio. Again, I don't think Azmat's going to win, and if he does, it's going to be by sitting in the guard and play and being extremely cautious, but extremely safe and boring, and really not doing much. So I do have Zach Reese here. I've got him on the money line in 2 different parlays, 3 different parlays. I think at plus 160, the value is there. I want to say I got him at plus 180 as well. Um, he's got more ways to win this fight, and I think he could absolutely um do it in the first round, probably KO or submission. But we'll see. So the official pick and the betting, I do have multiple bets on Zach Reese. It's going to be Zach Reese here. So moving on, Peyton Talbot. We've got Peyton Talbot taking on Raoni Barcelos. Of course, he's a huge favorite. I want to say he's a minus 1400 now, so he's a huge favorite. Peyton Talbot. We all know him as he's a phenomenal kid. He's a really good striker. He does have some pretty good grappling as well. Um, the way he reads guys and the way he's able to even from feet to the top of their head, he's able to read guys so well that he knows exactly when to counter, when to strike, when to get just out of distance so he doesn't get hit. I mean, he's a really talented kid. Raoni Barcelos, on the other hand, he's an old guy. Hang on, let me grab some water. Okay. All right, bet. Shout out body armor, by the way. Um, yeah, so Raoni, he's old. He's a huge underdog here. The only way I think Raoni can win this fight is by offensively wrestling. Peyton Talbot doesn't have the best takedown defense. He does have some pretty good jiu-jitsu, but his takedown defense isn't all that good. And I don't know if he's really that good as far as jiu-jitsu goes off his back. So if Raoni Barcelos can take down Peyton Talbot, hold him there, and Talbot decides to just stay there on his back, he could lose this fight, just by eating away the minutes. But I have a hard time seeing it. It's gonna be Peyton Talbot as the pick. Let me be very clear with all of you guys. Do not bet on Peyton Talbot at a minus 1400 favorite. Don't put him as a parlay piece. Don't bet him, on the money line. Just don't do it. If you're gonna bet him, go find some sort of. I was looking at the odds. Even his KO prop is just straight chalk. It is not worth the price. So if you are going to bet him, I would say go bet his round prop by KO. That's how he's going to win this fight is by KO, and go find the exact round. So even if you got to do KO 1 and 2 or KO 2 and 3, go bet that. Do not bet this guy on his money line or his KO prop alone. It's not worth it. The chalk you're laying for minus 1400, just in case you don't know, that means you have to bet $1,400 to win $100 back. It's not worth it. So just PSA for everyone. Don't do it. It is not worth it. You won't see me betting huge favorites like this. Even, I mean, minus 400, minus 500 is really the most expensive I will go. But other than that, do not parlay this guy. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. But the pick will be Peyton Talbot, probably by KO. Could be by decision though. So moving on, the fight I've been going back and forth on. I I've heard so much and read so much, and I just don't know. I think I have a pretty good read. I just have a hard time though. So we've got Rainier de Ritter versus Kevin Holland. I really want to take Kevin Holland here, and I think I'm going to. The only reason I wouldn't is because I just don't think Kevin Holland gives a freak. I don't think he cares. I don't think if he cares if he wins, if he loses. I just don't think it matters to him. He's getting paid a bazillion dollars to fight. He's planning on fighting 6, 7 times this year. So that's every what, 2 months? He's got to fight every 2 months to fight 6 times this year. This dude does not give a freak about winning or losing. He cares about the paychecks. He cares about making the fans happy. He doesn't care about winning or losing. So that's the only reason that I have a hard time picking Kevin Holland to win this fight is because I just don't think he cares. And Rainier de Ritter, he's coming in. He did not impress me against his in his debut against Gerald Meerschaert. He did not impress. He got hit a lot of times. His offensive grappling is pretty poor. So I'm torn. I'm torn here on this fight. It's gonna be Kevin Holland by KO or Rainier de Ritter by submission, one of the two. Something else I could see, it's a long shot, but I could see is Kevin Holland by submission. And what it would be, it'd be a club and sub. He'd hurt Rainier on his feet. Rainier would shoot a sloppy shot, and then Kevin Holland would snatch up a Darce. So that's a possibility. And for those reasons, I think I got to go with Kevin Holland here. I'm not going to be betting him though. He's just untrustworthy. Always has been. He's a hard guy to bet on. But I will pick him for the official pick, probably by KO. Rainier de Ritter. I mean, he got hit a lot by. I mean, Gerald Meerschaert is not a good striker, and Rainier de Ritter got pieced up by Gerald Meerschaert. So it'll be Kevin Holland here. He'll probably be able to keep the distance, gauge the distance. He's got he's got power in his hands, knockout power in his hands. He's really fast. He's got good kicks, especially low kicks. So Kevin Holland will be the pick here, but it is not confident in any way, shape, or form. Main card time. We have Jailton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. I know for sure I have Jailton Almeida money line in, I believe it's one parlay. And then I've got Sergey Spivak under on his significant strikes on Underdog Fantasy. And I think it's set at 15.5 is when I got in. And I believe every single one of Jailton Almeida's opponents hasn't landed over 15 significant strikes. Curtis Blades could have. I don't remember exactly, but it was like 7 or 8 of his opponents haven't landed over that. So I felt pretty good about Spivak not landing that many just because he's not really a striker. The problem with this fight for Sergey Spivak is Sergey's game is grappling, and Jelton is just levels above this guy. He's levels above. So I think this is going to be a quick one. I think Jelton Almeida is going to go in there, take him down, take the back, and sink up that rear naked choke. I mean, it's going to be Jelton Almeida by rear naked choke or Jelton Almeida by rear naked choke, to be honest with you. This dude's gonna get to the back, find a rear naked choke, and it's gonna be a quick night in the office for him. So that's the official pick. Pretty easy one for me. I don't think Spivak is good enough to or fast enough or uh, you know defensively or offensively good enough wrestling wise to hang with Jelton Almeida, and I think it's gonna be Jelton Almeida by submission. So moving on. I have a good read on this fight, boys. Yuri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Everyone loves Yuri, right? Everyone is a huge fan of Yuri. Yuri Prochazka, yeah. No. Okay. I don't like Jamal Hill just as much as you don't like Jamal Hill, but Jamal Hill is going to win this fight. If you look at the stats, read into the stats. Jamal Hill lands. This is what he lands. Nearly 8 significant strikes in 1 minute. Okay. Yuri Prochazka, he absorbs almost 7 strikes, significant strikes per minute. So this whole fight, Jamal Hill is going to be landing between 6 and 8 significant strikes a minute on Jerry Prohaska. And Yuri Prochazka is gonna be putting his face forward and defending the shots with his face because he keeps his hands down. Boys, if you're taking Yuri Prochazka on this fight, I I can't be with it. I can't get on the train. I mean, he's a popular vote here. Everyone wants him to win. Nobody likes Jamal Hill. They all hate him, but he's a good boxer. He has heavy hands. He's really fast. He goes to the body a lot. I love that. And Yuri Prochazka, he literally goes in there and he eats punches with his face. He does not keep his hands up. He blocks punches with his face. Go watch his Volkan Oezdemir fight. Yeah, he won. That's great, right? But Volkan Oezdemir lands a really good jab, a hard jab, and then Yuri Prochazka goes like this, and he puts his face forward for the timekeeper. Why is it spacing me now? For Volkan Oezdemir to hit him again, and Volkan Oezdemir throws the same jab but harder, and Yuri just eats that eats that crap, dude. It just doesn't make sense. The dude doesn't like to block punches with his hands. He likes to eat them right in the face. And Jamal Hill's going to KO him. So I've gone heavy on Jamal Hill. He's in three of my parlays. I've got him on the money line. I've got him by KO. It's Jamal Hill. It's Jamal Hill, boys. If you think it's Yuri, you're wrong. Come back to this after this fight. I'm gonna make some serious money on Jamal Hill this week. So that's my pick. It's an official pick. It is the pick. Jamal Hill is gonna win this fight. He's gonna get a rematch with Poatan. It's Jamal Hill. Don't read into it too much, boys. It's Jamal Hill by KO. Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. All right, I have some hot takes on this fight. There's been a lot of hot takes on this fight. You got the guys posting on Instagram and hot take on this fight. Here's my hot take. I think Umar Nurmagomedov 50-45s Merab, and I don't think Merab lands a single takedown. There's my hot take. I don't think Merab lands a single takedown. I think Umar stuffs every single takedown and then takes down Merab. Could be Umar by submission. Could be Umar by submission. And if it is, it's going to be a dominant one. But if it's not Umar by submission, it's probably Umar by decision, and it's going to be a 50-45. I promise, boys. It's going to be 50-45 Umar, and Merab Dvalishvili is going to go 0 for 50 takedowns. I promise. I'm serious. I've been looking into this. Umar's 100% on his takedown defense, and that's against guys like Corey Sandhagen, Raoni Barcelos. I guess Raoni didn't have a chance to shoot a takedown, but if he did, Umar would have stuffed it. And Merab is a good wrestler. There's no doubt. And he does spam takedowns, but he has a 36% takedown accuracy. 36%. Okay. And Umar Nurmagomedov has a 100% takedown defense. So there's my hot take for you. I think Umar stuffs every single one of Merab's takedowns. I think Merab goes, I mean, think about it. Jose Aldo did it. Jose Aldo stuffed what? 40 takedowns in 15 minutes? Merab didn't land a single one. I think Umar 50-45 is this dude. I think he's that good. And I think he stuffs every one of his takedowns. So there's my hot take for you, boys. It is what it is. It's the truth. Umar wins this fight, no doubt. Umar's the real deal. Umar is the real deal. And Merab is good, but Umar's better everywhere. Better with the striking. His teep kicks are phenomenal. He's fast with his kicks. His wrestling is Dagestani wrestling. He's in the gym with Khabib all the time. He's in the gym with Makhachev all the time. He's in the gym with Usman Nurmagomedov all the time. I mean, these guys are good. These guys are good. So there you have it. That's my hot take. But the official pick here is Umar. And I do have Umar in a parlay. It's a square parlay. It's an Islam and Umar parlay, but I feel good about it. Free money's free money, right? So the main event of the evening. Unfortunately, we had Arman Sarukian. He had to withdraw due to injury, which is sad because that was going to be one of the highest levels of MMA we see this year. and it's just down the drain. Um, but look at this right here. Look at my cursor. My plus 600 on Renato Moicano. That's just disrespectful. And I get it. It's Islam. But think about it. Renato was training for Benil Dariush, who's a great grappler. Islam Makhachev is a great grappler. Renato Moicano was training for a southpaw. Benil Dariush is a southpaw. Islam Makhachev is a southpaw. Renato Moicano is a grappler. Islam Makhachev is a grappler. I mean, Renato is not out of this fight. He has a shot. I think his only shot is to take the back and choke out Islam, but he has a shot, 100%. Um, it doesn't help that he was training for 3 rounds. That could definitely be a problem for Renato. And it's Islam Makhachev, man. The dude's good. I was a hater, still am. Don't love Islam, but he's good. Can't deny it. So, I mean, it's of course, Islam is the official pick, and I do have a parlay, like I said, with Umar on this one. I think I got him at minus 420 against Sarukian. I don't know if it'll be a void or if they'll just keep that line. Either way, doesn't matter. You won't see me parlay minus 950 though. It's too much, especially against a guy that could choke him out. I mean, Renato's got really good BJJ. Islam has good grappling as well. He's good at staying safe. But if Renato gets the back of Islam Makhachev, some weird crap could happen, and he could pull it off. Weird stuff happens in short notice fights, boys. This could be another one of those situations. Could be. But there you have it. The official pick is Islam Makhachev. Don't know how. Don't know which way he wins. He probably does, though. Probably by KO. But there you have it. And that's it, boys. That is what we have. So, Makhachev Moicano. Here we go. Wish it was Sarukian. Happy for Moicano, though. Low-key sick. Short notice fights. Anything can happen. Mike Bisping versus Luke Rockhold is an example. I mean, short notice fights happen, and weird things happen when they happen. So there you have it. Let me go through my bets real quick. So here's what I got for you guys. I think you're gonna like these. Let me pull this up really quick. Bear with me. So I know, like I mentioned before, I have got. Here, let me just pull these up. All right, there we go. So my first bet of the week was Umar and Islam parlayed up. I believe I got that at minus 167. So a little chalky, not terrible. And I want to say I put half a unit. Yeah, I put half a unit on it here. So half a unit to win a quarter of a unit, basically, which is fine. Money's money. Free money's money, right? Then I've got another parlay here. Reese. Let's see. I've got Reese on the money line, Zachary Reese on the money line, and Jamal Hill KO. I love this parlay. I really do. I think it smacks. I've got uh 0.25 or point 0.2 units on it. Got it at plus 641, which is huge. The return is a unit and a half off of a point 0.2 of a unit. So that's pretty sick. And then I've got a four-legger here. Sopai money line, Almeida money line, Reese money line, and Hill KO. And I've got a tenth of a unit on that at plus 1,021 odds to return a unit. So it's gonna be good. And then for tomorrow, I will also have probably just straight bets on Hill KO, um, as well as Hill money line. And I'd like to say I could get to Kevin Holland, but I won't. Love Zach Reese as an underdog. This fight right here, Grant Dawson. I love the fight not to go to the distance. Let me see what that is. Got my iPod right here. Let's see. Let me pull up the lines here. Hold on. What's going on? All right, we're struggling here. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. UFC right there. Okay, here we go. So Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Fight not to go the distance. It's a minus 120. So you're laying a little chalk, but not bad at all. And fight to go the distance is minus 110. So it's a pick 'em. I don't think it should be that close of a line there because Grant Dawson could ground and pound Diego out and Ferreira could knock him out. I think there's some serious upside for fight not to go the distance there. Um, and the under 2.5 is plus 120. So if you're looking for a little bit of plus money there, you can play the under 2.5 instead of the fight not to go the distance. But I could see myself getting to that. I don't know if I will. Yeah, that's probably it for me, boys. I'm going big on the Jamal Hill. The Jamal Hill KO is where I'm going big. That's where we're gonna make some serious money. And then let me just go over a couple of my DFS plays. We're starting the ladder challenge again. Here's what I've got. So I've got for the ladder challenge, I've got Sergey Spivak under significant strikes at 15 and a half. And then for my second leg, I've got Jamal Hill. It's in the rivals section. So what rivals is it's got Yuri Prochazka at plus 2.5 significant strikes. So at the end of the fight, after all the significant strikes are tallied up, they will add 2.5 strikes to Yuri's um, significant strike total. If it's more than Jamal Hill's, then I lose the bet. If it's less than Jamal Hill's, I win the bet. And Jamal Hill, he like I said, he lands nearly three more significant strikes than Yuri. So I feel pretty safe about that. I went with Jamal Hill to land more than Yuri. Um, that's the ladder challenge, and then I've got Asmat Bakayev higher on takedowns. I think he'll be able to take down Reese more than twice, and Rinya Nakamura lower on significant strikes. He's never landed over 40 significant strikes. Then I've got Rainier DeRitter under on significant strikes at 32 and a half. It's going to be a quick finish or something freaky, and then Merab Dvalishvili, get this stat. Umar Nurmagomedov gets hit with like 1.3 significant strikes per. So no way Merab is landing over 78 significant strikes. So I went with the lower on Merab. There's a couple off of underdog. I'm excited. This is gonna be a good fight card. Let's freak after it, boys. Let's make some freaking money. Feeling excited, feeling happy, feeling feeling ready to make some change. But it's gonna be a good fight card. That would be sick if Moicano got it done. That'd be crazy. But I don't think there's anything else. So Saucy picks MMA. We out of here. Good luck, boys.